are experiencing. Ladies and gentlemen, we are experiencing trouble with the sound portion of this program. We are attempting to correct the situation. Please stand by.
Quarterback situation with the elements will be the factor. We'll swim out of here up to the booth. Doug will leave you here. Take care. Very much. Stay dry. We'll be back with the opening introductions and the kickoff in just a minute. You guys are great.
Today's Class 5A state championship football game between Peoria's Richwoods Knights and Joliet Catholic Hilltoppers is being brought to you in part by the Price Leader, John Deere Ford's Subaru Yugo, the Peoria Association of Independent Insurance Agents, Whitmer's One-Stop Office Mart in Peoria, Bloomington, and Spring Valley, UA Cable Systems. For free installation offer, call UA Cable Systems at 686-2600. And 7-Up. It's being so good coming down.
Again, for a limited time this year, you'll find a very special countdown to Christmas poster. And it's no squeeze just for buying 7-Up and sharing 7-Up. What a great way to share in the feeling of Christmas. It's the perfect time to stack up on 7-Up's cool, crisp, clean refreshment. And kids get to blow Santa's beard as they count off the days to Christmas. Get your free countdown to Christmas poster when you buy 7-Up and share 7-Up. 7-Up, it's a feeling of Christmas.
The holiday season, my busiest time of the year. Many senior citizens dread this holiday. For them, it's just another lonely time of the year with no family or gifts. This Christmas, bring home great entertainment and make it a happy holiday for area seniors. Donate $15 to Neighborhood House Santa for Seniors and receive free installation on any one UA Cable System service. Well, time for this senior citizen to go to work.
Call UA Cable Systems 686-2600.
Back at Hancock Stadium, we're just about set for the player introductions for both teams, and here to do that is public address announcer Steve Adams.
And now, ladies and gentlemen, introducing the starting lineups for this afternoon's Class 5A state championship game featuring the Peoria Richwoods Knights and the Joliet Catholic Hilltoppers. First, introducing the starting defensive lineup for Peoria Richwoods, which will appear on the scoreboard as the visiting team. The head coach of the Knights is Rod Butler.
Rod Butler in his third year as coach has only lost 3 games out of 35.
At left end, number 50, Bill Williams. At left tackle, number 30, Kevin Carpenter. At right tackle, number 51, Desi Taylor. At right end, number 84, Marty Reno.
Marty Reno also plays flanker and split end on offense.
At nose guard, number 72, Malcolm Brooks. At linebacker, number 14, Ed Sutter.
You'll be hearing a lot about Sutter both on offense and defense.
At linebacker, 33, David Reyes. At cornerback, number 26, Nick Ellenwood.
Ellenwood, a 6-foot senior.
At cornerback, 22, Lamont Williams.
Williams also a running back.
At safety, number 20, Greg Bradshaw. And
fans did for Joliet Catholic High.
And now let's meet the starting offensive lineup for the Hilltoppers of Joliet Catholic. First, the head coach, Jim Boyker.
Jim Boyker, the head coach for Joliet Catholic, his second season.
At left end, number 82, Howie Schneider. At left tackle, 71, Bob Dean. At left guard, number 60, Kurt Runge. At center, number 52, Bob Cox. At right guard, 65, Jim Grady. At right tackle, number 75, Tim O'Brien.
Tim O'Brien at 280 and 6'4".
At right end, number 83, Andy Pellegrini.
Pellegrini, the leading receiver for the Hilltoppers.
At quarterback, number 5, Jonathan Voss. At halfback, 25, Mike Seneker. At flankerback, number 32, Tyrone Isaac.
Both Isaac and Seneca will be moving around the backfield.
And at fullback, number 43, Chris Udovich.
And Udovich, the fullback.
Of Joliet Catholic.
Well, Peoria Richwoods won the toss, but elected to defer to the second half, meaning that gave Joliet Catholic the choice. Joliet Catholic took the ball. And again, a little bit of unconventional strategy by Rod Butler, but in this kind of weather, you can certainly understand the reasoning.
Absolutely. What they're trying to do is they want to have the concept of being able to go on offense right off the bat, and then hope that the Joliet Catholic with the nervous stomach.
Well, let's take a look at how the teams got here. You can see the defense of Peoria Richwoods only allowing 2 touchdowns and averaging, letting their opponents average not even 4 points a ball game. The Rich South, a powerful team, and Richwoods just ran all over them. Joliet Catholic also has a very tough defensive team, averaging fewer than allowing about 10 points a game defensively. Belvedere gave them a little bit more trouble scoring on the opening drive, but Catholic came out and won it going away. There are the officials, the referee Eugene Sawalik, Jim Evans, the umpire, head linesman Jim Payne, and Richard Sarget will be the line judge. A very dapper crew, and they're going to earn their money today because they are soaking wet, as all the players are. Take a look at the deep men for Joliet Catholic High. Number 22, Ken Nagel on the near side, a junior, and Mike Seneca on the far side, a 5'10", 160-pound senior, teeing it up for Peoria Richwoods, number 14, Sutton, Eddie Sutter, who just does about everything for this team. And we're just about set to get underway. The Class 5A championship between Peoria Richwoods in white, Joliet Catholic in the brown uniforms. And there is Sutter. You're going to see him as a two-way player and also as the kicker. Here we go. And it's taken on the 15-yard line by Joliet Catholic. Number 23, John Schaff, is in there. And he gets it across the 35. And Catholic will go to work. The Hilltoppers from their own 35-yard line. Very enthusiastic crowd here from Joliet Catholic. There's the starting offense. Jonathan Voss, a 60% passer. Udovich, the fullback. Seneker, Isaac, the running back. They're going to switch positions in the backfield. And right now you've got Udovich, the fullback. In motion is Tyrone Isaac. And Voss starts out by throwing. And it's complete to Howie Schneider. And Schneider gets it up close to first down yardage near the 45-yard line. Brought down by Nick Ellenwood and Eddie Sutter for Richwood. There's the offensive line, tackle to tackle, Dean, Rongi, Cox, Grady, O'Brien, and Pellegrini, the tight end. Actually, they usually use 2 wideouts, although they'll bring Pellegrini in tight at times. They're in the eye this time. Call it second down, 1 yard to go. And this is the give to Mike Seneker. And Seneker gets across the first down marker, and they'll move the chain. Mike Seneker, tailback, 5'10" senior. He was the leading rusher as a junior. And this year he's rushed for 700 yards at about 6 yards a clip. The defense, actually they'll play a 5-2 with Williams, Kevin Carpenter, Desi Taylor, Marty Reno also a wide receiver. And the nose man, You'll see him, Malcolm Hooks, number 72. This time, though, they're in the 4-3. Double wing setup. That is Seneca in motion as Jonathan Voss again to throw. And he flips it out, and it's intercepted, intended for Tyrone Isaac. And it is picked off by number 20, Greg Bradshaw. Bradshaw with a fine interception on the first turnover of the ball game and a big break for Richwoods.
I talked just before the kickoff with Jim Boyder, and I asked him what he was going to do, and he said we're going to come out and do what we do all year, and that's throw the ball if we can and see what happens as far as the elements. Here's the elements right there. Slippery ball, and there's a turnover. This has been an effect in all the games so far. Early turnovers with good field position. Let's see what happens.
From the 47-yard line of the Hilltoppers, Peoria Richwoods gets the ball. And the first man through will be Joe Sickles, the fullback. And Sickles, you're going to be hearing a lot about him. He is listed at 135 pounds. Well, he's 10 pounds lighter than that, says Coach Rod Butler. Lamont Williams, the halfback. Greg Bradshaw, who just made the interception, out on the flank. And Sutter is the split end. The offensive line, Sendil Williams, Malcolm Hooks, who's also the nose guard, Houston, and Marty Reno. Second down, 8 yards to go with the two-man backfield. And this time it is Williams. And Williams is stopped by the tough Joliet defense. Lamont Williams, 17-year-old senior. Take a look at that Joliet Catholic defensive line, and it averages better than 200 pounds a man. Gregorich, Skoll, Frescura, and Raub. 4 real good ones. Raub being the only junior. Third down, 7 yards to go. Again, the twin backs. And the give again is to Williams, and Williams is stopped at the 40-yard line, about 3 yards short of first down yardage.
Point of interest for our fans here, Joliet Catholic's strength defensively lies in their rushing defense as we look at the linebackers for Joliet Catholic. John Lausch being their all-conference, all-everything player.
And the secondary there, including Sassers, now running back kickoff. Eddie Sutter is the punter, and Sutter will get it off from about midfield. And trouble on the snap, but gets the kick away. Seneca will let it bounce, and it will go inside the 10, bounding down to the 5. And it will be Joliet Catholic's ball on its own 5-yard line. Let's go down to Doug Bell. Doug, how you doing?
Mike, I'm doing great because I've thrown away the umbrella. It stopped raining, believe it or not, and that might help Joliet. They might start throwing more. You saw Greg Bradshaw intercept that pass. He did that last week, too. That led to a touchdown. They've done it 8 times, converted turnovers into touchdowns throughout the playoffs. But Joliet stopped them that time. Back to you guys.
Thanks a lot, Doug. 8 minutes, 30 seconds to go in the first quarter. And running it out this time is Yudovich, the fullback, and Yudovich gets about 3 yards. We were on the field before the game, Jack, and it was really slippery. You were just churning up waves and puddles when you were just walking across the field.
The carpet has about an inch or half-inch of water. You'll see it. You can see as the players stand there right now, that moisture right there as they push down and walk with their shoes. You can see water squishing out from underneath. The turf is very slippery.
Give Yudovich 3 yards. Now the twin set backfield behind Jonathan Voss. They shift into the eye with Yudovich. And this is Tyrone Isaac. Tyrone Isaac takes it. One thing Jim Boyder wanted to do is get his traps working quickly, and I think he's trying to do that now that maybe the passing game's on the shelf, especially deep in their own territory.
Well, they're also doing a lot of shifting in their offensive formation, and this will dictate the coverages by Peoria Richwoods secondary. You can formation people out of certain defensive coverages by how you set people up and the motion that you use. It doesn't change the front too much, but it certainly changes the rotation of the secondary.
Schneider to the left side, split, there in the eye. This is Voss again to throw. Has some time. Voss will take it himself, and he will be out of bounds at about the 11-yard line, and Joliet Catholic will have to putt. The wind again, as yesterday, is a crosswind, and it's blowing from east to the west, or as you're looking across the field from the top of the screen to the bottom. This plays some very tricky, wreaks a little bit of havoc with the punters and the passers. This is Voss back to punt. He will let it go from about his own goal line. 7 minutes, 11 seconds to go. No score. Joliet Catholic punting to Peoria Richwoods. Fitzsimmons takes it, drives play by Scott Fitzsimmons. And when we come back, Peoria Richwoods getting a little bit better field position. They'll be in Joliet Catholic territory with the score 0-0 in the 5A final.
Bored with the same old dinner time routine? Pork, chicken, beef, pork, chicken, pork, chicken, beef, pork, chicken. Break the boring barnyard dinner habit with fresh seafood from Dixon's Fish Guy. Dixon satisfies your gourmet taste without costing you a gourmet price. There are hundreds of fresh seafood dishes and recipes that you'll be sure to love. So come on, break the dinner time doldrums with fresh seafood from Dixon. It's a refreshing change. Peoria Corp., the First National Bank of Peoria and First National Bank of Woodford County.
The work now from the 40-yard line of Joliet Catholic. Very good field position.
Absolutely. It was a great job by that punt receiver because in this, it's key to catch the ball so it doesn't get that after-turf bounce. They got good field position here.
Ian Brown, the quarterback. I set. And they give it to Sickles. Sickles is overwhelmed by number 91, Dan Raub, and number 76, Joe Frescura. Raub, the only junior in the front four, 6'1", 220.
Let's take a look at excellent penetration there by Jack Grohl. That's what he does so well. He's got that quickness inside. That's why Joliet Catholic puts two quick people over the guards.
Give Mike Scroggins help on the tackle, too. Call it second down, no gain, 10 yards to go. Again, the eye back. Set up Lamont Williams in the eye. And the pitch goes to Williams, and Williams gets to turn the corner. Lamont Williams getting good yardage around the left side. Down to about the 26-yard line before being run out of bounds by John Lodge.
That's what Peoria does so well, is run the option. That's the key to their offensive game. And a lot of people say, well, they've only got 3 or 4 plays, but they block it differently each time. Notice the guard pulling right there, number 66, and he's trying to hook the end on the option play. A good pitch by the quarterback, and Lamont Williams does a nice job of getting around the corner.
Gossett, the linebacker, blocked out of there. That's what enabled Williams to turn the corner. First and 10 from the 29-yard line of the Hilltoppers. Peoria Richwoods in business now. Again, this is Williams, and Williams breaks through up the middle for a gain of better than 10. Down inside the 20. Stopped by Gossett.
Take a look at it here. It's just a straight dive, and he finds that seam and keeps the shoulders down. Good leg drive. Picks up a big gainer there of about 9 yards. Second and a short one for Peoria Richwoods.
Clock keeps running. Under 6 minutes to go. Scoreless ball game. First quarter. The rain has stopped. The field, as we mentioned, it's been raining overnight, all night. It is still very slick out there. Second down, 1. Again from the eye. And Sickles again gets the call. And the fullback gets what looks to be first down yardage. Down around the 19. They'll probably put a measurement on this, but from here it looks as though it was close enough. Well, you're seeing just what you said. Peoria is running the same thing over and over again, but it's different. There's Rod Butler, and he calls his team boring, but I think he's just doing that to try to lull the opposition.
Well, this is exactly what happens in the option. You get lulled to sleep, and the key to the option on any attack is a fullback. And, of course, Sickles has great stats, 28 touchdowns, over 1,600 yards rushing. I call him a full of heart because he's only 5'7", about 140 pounds soaking wet, but he's as tough as nails inside, and that's the key. You get lulled to sleep with the fullback, and then they attack the perimeter, and if the cornerbacks get sucked up, you got big plays in the pitch option.
They also have field goal possibilities with Sutter. Here they go first and 10 from the 19. Again, Ian Brown is the quarterback. And Brown gives it to Williams. Second man through. Williams got one man to beat. And Williams is in there for the touchdown. Lamont Williams. Peoria Richwoods draws first blood with 5:10 to go on a nifty run by Lamont Williams.
Great effort there by Lamont Williams. Just a great job of running.
Lamont Williams, 5'9" senior, goes 19 yards.
Notice the guard, inside trap, right here, right up the gut. And when you play against an even front like the 6'1" monster that Joliet runs. Once you pass past the line of scrimmage, you got a lot of yardage ahead of you.
John Schaff had a chance to on-tackle him, but on-tackles don't usually work, and that one didn't. Kick by Sutter is up. It is good. And as we come back up the field, Peoria Richwoods leads Joliet Catholic 7-0. We're in the first quarter. All right, let's go to Doug Bell. Well, we're trying to bring in Doug Bell. Doug, can you hear me down there?
Yes, I can hear you. Can you hear me now, Mike?
Okay, go ahead.
Short story about Lamont Williams, number 22, the young man who just scored the touchdown. Before this season began, he wanted to quit football. He missed the first few practices. He just didn't want to play. He lost his desire, sat down with his dad, had a heart-to-heart, decided to come back out, and I guess now he's pretty happy he did. Back to you guys.
Good story. Thanks again, Doug. All right.
It's nice to hear that somebody listens to their father. In 1987.
We can speak from personal experience, at least I can. All right. Sutter will kick it off. Schaff, number 23, to the left. On the right will be Nagel. Tim Nagel, number 22. Peoria Richwoods on the board ahead now. Here comes Sutter. And it will go to Nagel's side. Although somebody gave a little help over there.
That's something Coach Boyd will be a little upset about, was how that ball was handled. You always want the man coming up on the ball to take it, not somebody going back. And there was a little mix-up there.
Mike Greger, number 30, taking it over his shoulder. They got away with one there. The scoring drive, just under 2 minutes, capped by the 19-yard run by Williams. And the field position certainly played an important part in that drive, Jack.
In most of the games we've done so far, field position has been a key, especially with these type of elements.
Joliet Catholic in a situation it has not been in too often, and that is behind early. And this is Seneca getting barely a yard. Well, he didn't even get that. No gain. 2nd and 10.
It's going to be interesting to see how Joliet Catholic copes with the conditions. As you mentioned, the weather has gotten better. The surface is a little slick. Joliet is not a one-dimensional team. They can throw, and they have an outstanding running game. So it should be very interesting.
Snyder, number 82, split to the near side. 2nd and 10, this is Voss. Flipping out to Tyrone Isaac, and Tyrone Isaac gets across the 20. Tyrone Isaac to about the 22, ridden out of bounds by Nick Ellenwood, bringing up a 3rd down.
Let's take a look at it. Voss had just gone in motion, and he had a delay coming out of the backfield right here, and he catches the ball, turns upfield, and he's trying to do a little deking. They've got him pinned to the sidelines right here. Good contact.
Gain of 4 is 3rd and 6, and we're getting an official time now. There's a shot of Isaac in the backfield. Isaac and Udovich in the eye. Udovich the up back. Seneca goes in motion. This is Voss again. And this is the draw to Isaac, and Isaac has trouble getting started. Now breaking away, and Tyrone Isaac gets something out of nothing, but it will be well short of the 1st down.
Shows you the quickness that he has. He was really pinned in, and he was very fortunate to get back close to the line of scrimmage. Let's take a look at it. Just a little sprint draw look, and you notice he stumbles as he comes out of the starting blocks there. He's pinned, and he tries to break back. And Peoria Richwoods has excellent pursuit here, and Joliet Catholic's going to be forced to punt.
Marty Reno had the first shot at him, but Eddie Sutter put the blocks to him. Now here, once again, the punt by Voss. And Voss gets it away again toward midfield. Taken by Fitzsimmons. Fitzsimmons with some room. Scott Fitzsimmons nearly breaking it, getting down to the 35-yard line. And once again, Peoria Richwoods will have very good position to work from.
And from a coaching standpoint, I can't emphasize enough how important it is to catch the punts on AstroTurf. Let's take a look at it. Right here, he's at the 50-yard line. He let it bounce. Poor field position. He gets a nice run back of about 10 yards, and now they're looking at the 35-yard line. Great field position.
In the eye. With Bradshaw in motion. Now he sets up on the wing. This is Sickles, and Sickles for short yardage. Well, Joliet is certainly packing the middle. The breaks when they are coming for Peoria Richwoods have been around the ends, although that Joliet Catholic line is very well is a bulky line. I mean, they're quick, but they're big.
They're quick, they're big, and they also are very well coached. This will be the factor when it comes down to attacking the perimeter on the option. They have played option teams in the playoffs, so it's not something new to them. So we'll see how well they do when it comes to the responsibilities of the option.
Bradshaw comes in motion now to the near side. Sets up on the wing. Again, the I-back formation. 2nd and 9. And this is Bradshaw. Bradshaw's gone. So long. And Greg Bradshaw has shot the Hilltoppers again. What a run.
So far, we can see why they haven't had a pass. Inside counter trap with the wing. What happens is they get that inside linebacker coming over with the initial fake, and they come back with the trap. Let's take a look. You can see the wingman coming right back here. The fake to the fullback, the inside trap right there with number 20. Big hole. Excellent job of blocking right there. And excellent speed shown by Greg Bradshaw, and he just breaks it back. And a fine effort there by number 23. But John Chafe, but he's got 6 points.
34-yard touchdown run. The kick by Sutter, though, is off to the right. So the score now remains Peoria Richwoods 13, Joliet Catholic nothing.
Well, Joliet Catholic's got to be in a little shock here. They've been kind of dominating the teams that they've played late in the season. And in talking with people, we knew Peoria was tough, but they look awful good here.
Let's go down once again to Doug Bell. Doug?
Mike, I tell you what, I've been listening to the Joliet defensive coordinator. Besides a few choice words, he's barking out to his team right now. He's upset about the way his defense is tackling. He feels they're too high on the Richwoods players, and they're slipping off the shoulder pads and the jerseys, which are really wet from all the rain. And they want to get down lower and get a little meaner, but basically it's the way they're tackling. Back to you guys.
2 minutes, 37 seconds to go first quarter, and for the third time, Eddie Sutter is kicking off, only this time he's coming to the near hash mark.
Eddie Sutter, the Mr. Versatility, the all-stater.
And once again, you're taking a look at the deep men. Nagel, now number 22, and Schaff, number 23. Schaff at the top of the screen.
Joliet really needs to have a good run back here to get some field position. They've really been in the hole on all their possessions so far in this quarter.
It's brightening up as we speak. Sutter coming to the ball now with a 13-0 lead for Peoria Richwood. It's going to go to Schaff's side of the field. And Schaff takes it at about his 12. And he gets a good run back up across the 30.
30-yard line is good field position for high school football. The pros in college, they'll settle for being on the 20-yard line. For high school football, starting on the 30 is very acceptable.
Joliet Catholic in a hole, 13-0. Early, though, in the game. The scoring summary, only 2 plays, 35 yards, a 1-yard dive, and then the 34-yard run by Greg Bradshaw. 1st and 10 now from the 31-yard line for the Hilltoppers. And the pitch comes back to Mike Seneca, and Seneca gets about 4 up to the 35-yard line. A little bit short of that. Brought down by Sutter. And Bill Williams, number 50, the left defensive end. 2-minute mark now.
Seneca comes from a football family in Joliet. His brother played in the state championship team, I believe, in 1981, so he knows what it's like to be down here in Bloomington.
Wing back to the right with the I formation, and the give is to Tyrone Isaac, and Tyrone Isaac battles up close to the 40-yard line. Still be about a yard short of the first. Nick Ellenwood knocked him out of bounds.
Let's take a look here at Tyrone Isaac. They're all state running back in a counter trap. You see the guard pulling right in front of him here on a trap, number 75. Good trap block, but they get penetration. It slows them down a little bit there by the linebacker. But a good effort here. He keeps bouncing out, and he's got that forward lean, which is real hard to coach for a running back. That's how you get the extra yards with that forward lean.
He's a pretty big back, 6'1", 175 for a high school size. We're taking a look there at the quarterback, Jonathan Voss, getting the signals wigwagged in from the sideline. Down a minute 29 to go first quarter. 13-0. If you're joining us late, Peoria Richwoods, jumping on the strength of 2 touchdown runs, has come up with 13 points here in the first quarter. Double wing now with Seneca and Isaac. Seneca goes in motion to the right. And Voss sneaking it across. And we get flags thrown in the backfield, which is probably indicative of something the offense did. Yeah, and that's what it is.
That hurts. That hurts. They would have picked up the first down here. Now they're going to be looking at 3rd and 6.
3rd and
game, that's the best. This has been the best field position they've had so far. And 3rd and 6 is a lot different than picking up a first down. And those are the kind of mistakes, especially in a state championship game, that hurt you early. And Coach Boyer, I'm sure, is very concerned about that.
Have an illegal shift on the offense. 3rd down.
That's the referee, Eugene Sawalik from Belleville. Boy, it has started to brighten up now. You can almost see through the clouds. And Rob Butler there, the coach of Peoria Richwoods. 3rd and 6 now.
Passing formation here.
With Isaac in the slot. This is Voss looking. He's got some room to go. And Jonathan Voss gets tripped up there short of the first down. It looked as though Voss had him, but Greg Bradshaw came up and made the saving tackle.
He made a choice. He went outside for the big run. Had he taken one more step inside, he would have had the first down. But that's high school football. It's easy to look up here and say that. You can see that right now, a little play-action pass. He looks back. He was looking for the slant route to the left of your screen. Didn't see it. Comes up right there is where he lost the first down. He's going for a bigger gain. Had he turned inside, he would have picked up the first down. Now they got a punt.
Now Voss will punt again with 30 seconds to go in the first quarter. High snap, and Voss is in trouble. Tries to kick it off the turf.
Well, who was the tie salesman for Miami? Remember that?
Your Premian tried to throw it.
Right, that's right.
Now, we also have flags
right here, folks. You see a real unusual play by Jonathan Voss.
Well, when we say tee it up, that's not what we're talking about.
Only in high school sports can you see that kind of a play.
Well, let's see what happens. Yeah, it's we're going to get some kind of signal against Joliet Catholic. The officials just have to sort out what. One way or another, it's going to be Peoria Richwoods ball.
When you get teams that are matched up so well, offensively and defensively, field position is a key. And Peoria Richwoods has really had great field position.
Of the ball. Decline.
Yeah, not a big surprise there. The penalty for illegal kicking was declined. Richwoods will get another shot here in the first quarter.
For our fans at home, the illegal kicking obviously was when he tried to kick it off the ground, and that's an illegal kick because once he lost possession of the ball, that's the same as a fumble, and you cannot kick a fumble intentionally.
In high school ball.
Correct.
Okay, Peoria Richwoods as the sun breaks through. With 11 seconds to go, clock running. The give is to Sickles, and Sickles dunked as he gets about 1 yard, and that will do it for the first quarter. Joe Sickles makes it a 2nd and 9, and that is it. That's the end of the first quarter of play with the score. Peoria Richwoods 13, Joliet Catholic nothing.
For Monday at S&K Chevrolet in Peoria, it's our biggest Thanksgiving weekend celebration ever. With over 800 cars and trucks available, we're doing whatever it takes to meet out 100 by closing time Monday. Our lowest prices of the year. With your good credit, take delivery with no down payment. Make no payment till 88. So put that turkey leg down, bring your title, bring your trade. This Thanksgiving weekend, hurry to the #1 Chevy dealer between St. Louis and Chicago, the top of the town, S&K Chevrolet in Peoria. Shop Widmer One-Stop Office Mart for practical and unusual Christmas gifts. A desk or chair for mom. A typewriter or briefcase for the student. A file or calculator for dad. And handsome desk accessories for the boss. Widmer specializes in budget, quality, and specialty office products in all price ranges. Something practical and unusual for everyone on your list. Remember, Widmer One-Stop Office Mart in Peoria, Bloomington, and Spring Valley.
Introducing the Holidays Tumbler from Arby's. Authentic 22-karat gold rim. Elegant holly design. And yours for a special price from Arby's. It's so nice you may want to give it as a gift. Or you may not.
We're TV19, WHOI Peoria. To play. Peoria Richwoods Richwoods High School 13, Joliet Catholic nothing. Mike Liederman along with Jack McInerney, and down on the field, Doug Bell. What do you got to tell us, weatherman?
Well, Mike, I feel for you guys up in the booth. I got the best seat in the house. The sun is out. Back to you guys.
And so is the Peoria Richwoods offense. They have second down 9 on the 29-yard line of Joliet Catholic. Flags fly. The ball goes off to Lamont Williams, but we're going to have a walk-off against Peoria Richwoods, probably for an illegal shift or an offside, or
there was movement prior to the snap. Okay, the difference in this ball game so far has been field position. We mentioned that.
On the white, still second down.
That first quarter, Peoria Richwoods took advantage of the field positions they got, and they scored when they had the advantage.
Well, take a look at the situation. That's the Peoria Richwoods scoring for the season. They have shut out their opponents in the first quarter, and they kept that streak alive.
And those kind of points with not throwing the ball. Incredible.
Second down, 14 now.
And as they throw the ball,
Brown is going to throw. He's got a receiver wide open. But right away by Shaft. Away from Greg Bradshaw. Excellent play by John Shaft. No flags. But Ian Brown had Bradshaw out there and got the ball there.
Let's take a look at it here. Just as we spoke about the passing, all of a sudden a good play-action fake. He's got a man wide open. John Shaft playing safety, has the angle, starts coming your screen right here and goes right up. That's why he plays about 12 to 15 yards off, so he can get the angle anytime the corners are broken. Turns into double coverage by the safety on either side of the field.
I formation again. Third down, 14 yards to go. This is Brown on the option. He keeps it, and he is decked in there by Seneca. Second by Mike Kelly. Mike Kelly, number 24, the cornerback coming up there.
And interesting on that play, everybody had their assignment in the option. In fact, they had him so well that Lamont Williams, the pitchman, was tackled in the backfield by Joe Berta, so that he would never been able to pitch it anyway.
So 4th and 11 now from the 31-yard line. Interesting call here for Rod Butler. What do you do, Coach? Well, first thing you do, you take a timeout. As you can see Ian Brown calling the timeout. And there's Rod Butler.
Well, based on their background and what they do best, I shouldn't say that after that pass play, but normally they're a running team. So what do they do most of the time in a situation in long yards? The option is the same as a pass. You get the attack the perimeter. It's almost like a screen pass. You put pressure on the corner. In high school football, that is a big play from the defensive standpoint because you don't have that much time to work with the defense in the option game. The other alternatives are screen or draw.
Doug Bell, what you got?
Well, I tell you what, you saw Ian Brown throw that pass. Nearly caught, but it fell incomplete. His first incompletion of the playoffs, if you can believe it. Sure you can believe it. That was only the 4th time he's thrown in the playoffs. When he throws, he usually connects. Back to you guys.
He's talking about making the most of your attempts. Previously, he was 3 for 3 or 3 for 5 anyway. I think 3 for 3, and all 3 completions were for touchdowns. Well, you know, I think he'll trade that for a victory today. Everything else that Peoria Richwoods has tried seems to have worked so far. But the key here has been one turnover. But the field position has been very much in Richwoods' favor.
Well, absolutely. You get in a big game like this, the adrenaline's pumping and the kids are nervous, and they take advantage of the situation. Both teams extremely well coached. They wouldn't be here if they weren't. And now Peoria's got another advantage here.
4th and 11 now. Of course, they're going for it from the 31-yard line. And here again to throw is Brown. But he's got some room this time. And Ian Brown getting up close, but still will be short of the first down. John Raub, number 91, Rich Gregorich, number 93 in there on the stop. And Ian Brown, for a second there, had a clear shot for maybe even a touchdown.
You can see right here, he never had time to set up, and he sees the seam up the middle, but we've got to remember, it was long yards for that first down. It looks like it's a big gainer here, but Joliet Catholic closes in once he determines it's a run, and they shut him off, and they take over possession here.
So the ball goes over. Joliet Catholic now working again deep in its own territory from the 23. Tyrone Isaac goes in motion. And the give this time is to Seneca, Mike Seneca. And Seneca again on the slant getting short yardage. Give him a gain of a little better than 2.
You know, Peoria Richwoods offense dominates the headlines when you look at their stats, but they have an excellent defense, which is also indicated in the stats. But in most cases, we don't cover the defense too much, and we always talk about the offense. They have an excellent defensive team.
Tandem backs now. Isaac and Seneca, the setbacks, they shift into the eye with Udovich, the fullback, up close. And the give is to Seneca, and Seneca gets through into the secondary. Mike Seneca gets up to the 30-yard line, about 3 yards short of the first down. Tackled by Eddie Sutter and Nick Ellenwood.
Here's a nice throw on Seneca. You notice a little stutter step here, and he's being led up by the fullback. Nice block right here. Nice inside trap here, and he picks up close to a first down. He's got about 3rd and a long 2.
9:53 to go, second quarter. Peoria Richwoods 13, Joliet Catholic. The Hilltoppers with the ball. They have failed to score so far. They shift into the double wing. And Udovich, the fullback, the setback, gets the ball, and he, I believe, is short of the first down.
They stuffed that play. They're looking for a quick, short trap inside to Udovich, 6'2", 190-pound junior, and they did not get it. Let's take a look. You see the guard pulling right there, but there's great penetration inside by Kevin Carpenter, and they did not get it, and Joliet Catholic's going to be forced to punt here.
Peoria Richwoods continues to keep Catholic boxed deep in its own territory. So Joliet Catholic will punt to Todd Fitzsimmons. He's the deep man, number 11.
And you can notice the field has dried out quite a bit.
And Voss gets it away, and again, it'll be Fitzsimmons getting up close to midfield. Well, let's play this song again. Irene, you get the ball at the 50, or the other guy's 45, you're going to have a heck of a lot better time if you get it at your own 20. We've got 8 minutes, 48 seconds to go. 13-0 Peoria Richwoods with the lead and the ball when we come back.
The price leader makes Ford Taurus affordable for everyone. For as low as $85.95, you can own a low-mileage Taurus wagon or sedan, luxury-equipped with air, automatic stereo, and more. Or you can choose a brand-new '88 Ford Taurus and get a $600 factory rebate. Either way, low-mileage luxury for only $85.95 or an '88 with a $600 rebate. You can afford a quality Taurus at Central Illinois' #1 Ford dealer, John Deere's Ford Subaru Yugo.
There is no other lawyer in Peoria like Jay Jansen, because I had him take my case because I thought he was the best. There's no such thing as a cap on life. Jay went out to try to get what he could get from me. I mean, today I'm really grateful for what Jay did. I mean, it doesn't bring my loved one back, but it does give me a peace of mind that he did help me and my family through the struggle.
That's the story from the now beautiful, sunny Hancock Stadium. Boy, this game began in a driving rain, and now it's like a walk in the park. They could turn the lights off. It's sunny, it's warm, perfect weather for just about anything.
Pass me the copper tone, will you?
This is Sickles, the fullback. Joe Sickles gets across midfield, and Richwoods now with a 2nd and 8. Take a look with Joliet Catholic and Richwoods. Richwoods doubling the yardage of the first quarter for Joliet Catholic. And the dominance is indicative.
Joliet Catholic has never been in Richwoods territory.
They're probably getting out of their own 25. 2nd down, 8 yards to go. The ball just across midfield. Here's the I formation, and again, it is to Sickles again. The ball is loose, but I believe Sickles recovered it, or somebody else in a white suit did, for Peoria Richwoods.
Notice Joliet Catholic's defensive front are shifting back and forth. Let's take a look now. They put a man right in the center guard gap, and his responsibility is just to power right through there and take on the blockers to free up Lausch, John Lausch, the middle linebacker. And as you watch the defense with Joliet Catholic, watch them moving back and forth to create problems for the offensive line for Peoria Richwoods.
Jack Stoll, 94, Dan Rao, number 91, combining on that tackle now with a 3rd and 8. Big series here for Joliet Catholic, but they can stop Peoria Richwoods. Williams gets cleaned by number 50, Mike Scroggin. And Joliet Catholic now making the big play on that series. Great hit. Yeah, that was, you heard that one up here. I think you heard that one back in Peoria, Doug.
Right here, they're looking for an inside trap, and Scoggins, who's playing the weak side linebacker, the monster linebacker, plugged that real quickly and really had helmet on shoulder pads. Great hit.
Seneca, the deep man, on 4th and 9 from midfield. Here's Sutter's kick. And Sutter gets a good kick away. Headed for the 5-yard line, and it is out of bounds at the 6. Peoria Richwoods is doing a sensational job of pinning Joliet Catholic to the wall.
When I was talking with Coach Boyder before the ball game, he said that we have a real good high school kicking game.
He
said they have a great high school kicking game.
31-yard kick. We remind you the broadcast rights to today's Class 5A State Football Championship have been granted to Sports Vision by the Illinois High School Association. Any reproduction or rebroadcast of this event without the written consent of Sports Vision and the IHSA is prohibited. Well, the ball's on the 9-yard line for Joliet Catholic. And Voss back to throw near his own end zone. The pass is complete to Greenfield. To Pellegrini, rather, number 83. Andy Pellegrini making a good reception, having to turn in for the ball. And it's nearly a 10-yard gain. They'll measure for the first down.
Well, you can see the confidence that Jim Boyder has in his offense by being in his own territory and coming out throwing. And Pellegrini has been one of the leading receivers through most of the year. He has 31 reception, is the leading receiver for 514 yards, a 16.9 average with 3 touchdowns. That was a real nice catch because the ball was thrown behind him.
Jonathan Voss showing a lot of poise right there, throwing near his own goal line, and we'll take a look at the measurement, and it will be good for the first down.
Joliet Catholic right here, last ball game. They've got to let it all hang out. Field position, they're going to throw the ball depending on what the situation is, but they've got to go for it now. Down 13-0 in the second quarter here.
In the eye, Yudovich is the fullback.
Boss calling out an audible here.
Tyrone Isaac, the halfback. And the give is to Tyrone Isaac, and Isaac gets good yardage up across the 25. Flags go down, and we're getting a holding call against the Hilltoppers, which will set them back.
The last first down that Joliet Catholic had prior to Richwoods' last possession, they gained a first down, and they ended up having a flag, and they went back to 3rd and 6 instead of a first down. Same situation here.
Instead of 2nd and 3, you've got 1st and 20.
And coming out of their own territory, it's not something that Joliet Catholic is real thrilled about at this point.
Well, it takes them back to their own 10-yard line. And that's a big walk-off. Well, few penalties, but that was a very, very bad one for the Hilltoppers to take.
2 penalties for Joliet Catholic. But the times that they've come has been key.
They'll call it first down and 17. They take it from the spot of the foul.
Signals coming in from the sideline for the play.
And now they're in a spread. This is Voss. Voss from the shotgun. Screen. Flips it out to Tyrone Isaac. Isaac with 2 blockers in front of him. Play works well. Gets about close to the 20-yard line. Gain of about 12.
That screen was well read. You can see he's in the shotgun formation here. He looks away. The reason he's looking that way is because the screen's coming in the other direction here. You can see him throw back to Isaac, and this is a nice defensive job right here by number 84. Marty Reno plays off the blockers, and the gain could have been a lot bigger than it turned out.
And the man making the tackle once again is Mr. Sutter. Eddie Sutter.
That's why he's an all-stater, 6'3", 211-pound senior with a lot of colleges looking at him.
Second down, 12 yards to go, only a 5-yard gain. Once again, the spread. And the inside handoff, it goes to Tyrone Isaac, and Tyrone Isaac breaks free, then loses his footing. Tyrone Isaac had a gain, but the footing just slipped out and undid him. Let's go down to Doug.
All right, guys, now watch the matchup. The nose guard for Richwoods, the center for Joliet Catholic. He is Bob Cox, 6'2", 220 pounds. Number 23 for Richwoods, their nose tackle, is Andre Petty. Yes, only 5'3", 120 pounds, if that's including Thanksgiving dinner he had a couple of days ago. He's in there, and watch this young man play. It's a sight to behold. Back to you.
Hey, take a look at him. He looks like he's just a little bit bigger than the football. He's number 23. There he is. He's playing nose guard.
And Mr. Petty probably has a rosary beads in there. He hope he doesn't get hurt.
3rd and 4. Look in. Intended for Pellegrini, and it's through Andy Pellegrini's hands, and once again, it's punt time for the Hilltoppers. That's a good play. Good play. He was
got the seam inside the corner, between the corner and the safety, and the ball was delivered, and just kind of off his hands. Andy Pellegrini's been their leading receiver.
And Jonathan Voss has been in this position more than he's been under center, it seems. He's got a kick again, and once again, Todd Fitzsimmons goes back, and he's standing by his own 50-yard, by the midfield line, and that's where he takes it. And Fitzsimmons gets a good return, close to the 40, to about the Joliet Catholic 42. With 4 minutes, 44 seconds to go, the Hilltoppers in business again after that 38-yard punt. 13-0, they lead the Knights in business again, leading 13-0.
And there's Coach Butler giving Ian Brown some hints as to how to take advantage of this great field position they've had in this entire first half here. Joliet Catholic's been playing tough defense, but they've been really backed up.
1st and 10 to go. Call the ball on the 41. They're in the eye with Bradshaw to the near side. The pitch goes back to Lamont Williams, and Williams is upended by Dan Robb. Good play by Dan Robb, number 91, as well as number 51, John Lausch.
Let's take a look at the first phase. The fake to the fullback. He's tackled by the linebacker. Quarterback pitches. There's the corner, right where he should be. Great job. All three phases were taken, and that shows you what a great job Coach Boyd and his staff have done with his Joliet Catholic Hilltoppers.
2nd down, 11 yards to go. Loss of 1. Under 4 minutes to go now. Here they give once again to Williams, and Williams also gets back to the original line of scrimmage. Doug Bell on the sideline.
I just talked with, I overheard Corey McLaughlin, the defensive coordinator for Joliet, talk to his kids. He said, we have to force something. He told his players to tackle the ball, and they're also going to blitz because they want to force a turnover before this half is over.
Okay, Doug. There he is.
And he's not waving. He's telling them to watch the pass.
3rd and 9 in the I formation. And Sickles, the up back, gets it and gets nothing. Sickles gets the ball down to about the 40, so it'll be 4th down, 9 yards to go, and Sutter will come in and he'll kick it away. But again, even though they're not making first downs, they're starting where they can still pin the Hilltoppers back.
Well, you look at a punter, he is an offensive weapon for him because he's really put Joliet Catholic in very poor field position. And let's see if he does it again. The last time he put it on the 5. He's going for the corner.
Sutter's kick to Seneca, and Seneca's just going to let this one bounce, and this one is headed for the same general direction. They did it again.
That's an offensive tool. I mean, the kid, we go 3 plays, and if we don't get it, let's go on 4th, and he'll put him in the hole.
35-yard kick goes out of bounds at the 5. It may have just been sitting on both those marks right there, just sat right down.
I can't hit the green with my 7-iron playing 3 quarters, and he's putting the ball on a 5-yard line in the state championship.
If it gets any warmer, we may be taking out our 7-irons. Meanwhile, Joliet Catholic again in the shadow of its own goal. 2:34 to go, and the Hilltoppers from the 5-yard line. Voss gives it to Tyrone Isaac from the I-back spot, and Isaac gets across the 5 to about the 7.
The advantages and the disadvantages of running out of the eye, as you can see right here, it takes longer out of the eye, and there's getting penetration right there. You can see more of the field, and you can cut to more holes coming out of the eye for Isaac.
Good play by Lamont Williams in there to make the stop.
But the penetration, there's more time for the defensive lineman to react.
2nd and 9 now. Joliet Catholic. Voss looks like he's calling an audible. He's back in his own end zone. Don't let it go. He's intended for Pellegrini, and Pellegrini again had the step, but that ball took a long time to get there because he threw it about 45 yards in the air. Depending on the play was Ellenwood, the cornerback.
It's a nice job by Ellenwood because the ball was just a step behind him. He had him beat initially, but by the time he aired it out, recovery by the defensive back, and he came over and made a nice play.
3rd down 9 with 1:52 to go. On the 6-yard line, if Joliet Catholic has to kick it away again, Peoria Richwoods is going to have some time to maneuver and a lot of room to maneuver. 3rd and 9, they're working out of the double wing this time with Udovich, the fullback. Seneca in motion. Ross again. And Ross lets it go once again. And this time it is complete to Pellegrini. The ball is loose, but I believe the ball was caught and declared down, and Andy Pellegrini, who had a couple go through him earlier, comes up with a big catch worth 30 yards.
Let's take a look at Andy Pellegrini right here. He's running a post route. You can see him right now get in the seam between the safety and the cornerback. The ball, again, is a little underthrown. As you can see, he's got to come back for it, and he's bobbling it as he's going down. Here's a great shot of Voss going deep on the post, and he's between the corner and the safety, and he picks up the first down.
You know, if we could see another replay, we may see something. I don't know if he had possession, but as it is, it's called good. First down, Joliet Catholic on the 38. From the spread again, this is Voss. Streaking down the right to the left side of Seneca, but this one is complete to Tyrone Isaac, who bobbles it, and tackled by Sutter for a loss. Now let's take a look at it right here. All right, let's see what happens over here.
He's bobbling it right here. Hits him in the chest. You can see it right now sliding down, and his hands are covering up, and the ball is coming out. The contact, the possession has been kept because the Peoria Richwoods kid was laying on him. And when he hit the ground, the ball came out, and the ground cannot cause a fumble. So the catch was a combination. The ball was sandwiched in between him and the defender for Peoria Richwoods.
And it went for a 30-yard gain. Now, minute 12. Timeout taken by Joliet Catholic. They want to see if they can get something going here.
We're looking at a minute and 12 on the clock. They tried to sneak Tyrone Isaac out of the backfield on that last play, and I think we're going to look at that again. Here's our head coach, Jim Boyder, following the legend of Gordy Gillespie at Joliet Catholic. He's done a great job.
He's done very well with that. You know, when you replace somebody like Gordy Gillespie, the questions are, well, what would Gordy do? What would Gordy do? And
but you know, the coach doesn't think about that. The fans do. The coach doesn't. He's his own man. He calls his own play, his own system. He worked for Gordy. It's over. It's now Jim Boyder's program.
From the shotgun again, Voss with a second down. Voss looking for a receiver. He's trapped back there, and he is sacked by Carpenter. Carpenter, the left tackle, coming in to sack Jonathan Voss.
The key to that sack goes to the Peoria Richwoods secondary. They had covered the receivers for Joliet Catholic like a blanket, and he had no place to throw the ball.
Second timeout taken by Joliet Catholic. This time 58 seconds left to go. Well, this has been the kind of half Peoria Richwoods is going to frame for its highlight package. Sports Vision's next Blackhawk game is Monday night when the Hawks take on the Calgary Flames. Join Pat Foley and Dale Talon live from the Saddle Dome at 8:30 for all the exciting action on Sports Vision. Chicago's winners on cable. Well, I don't think they're going to have weather any better than what this has turned out to be. Boy, what a turnaround. Typical Illinois weather.
Standing down there before the ball game with driving rain. You're getting soaked in your Eddie Bauer. And that's cold, and man, now it's beautiful.
Between the sunshine on and the jacket, you've been giving plugs all over the place today. All right. 58 seconds to go. There's the Joliet Catholic bench with Jim Boyder, his hands folded there. They've got this play called. And once again, they'll work from the shotgun. Third down, 11. This is Voss. Over the middle, complete to Isaac. Isaac now has the first down, trying to go out of bounds, loses the ball. And recovered by Fitzsimmons of Peoria Richwoods.
It has not been Joliet Catholic's half so far. That was the late play we talked about. We're watching Isaac sneaking out of the backfield right here, coming across the bottom, underneath the linebackers, makes a nice run, gets the first down. They hit right there, and the ball stays in bounds, and he has possession. Peoria Richwoods gets the ball. Contact right there, just pops right out of his hand, and unfortunately for Joliet Catholic, it stays inbounds.
Marty Reno, the defensive end, doing the job to knock the ball. There's 35 seconds to go now with Peoria Richwoods on its own 40. They're just taking as much time as they can. It looks like they're going to go into the locker room with that 13-0 lead, and that's exactly what happened with Ian Brown just sneaking for the last play of the half. With 16 seconds to go, they do not have to get another one off. And they will probably just wait this one out, wait for the gun, and go into the locker room with that 13-0 lead. We hope to have a word with both coaches on either side of the half. Well, that's the end of the first half with the score. The Knights of Peoria Richwoods 13, the Hilltoppers of Joliet Catholic nothing. And what a half this has been. Let's see if we can go down to Doug Bell and have a word with Jim Boyder. Go ahead, Doug.
Okay, we're here with Jim Boyder. Jim, 13-0, you're down. The first two touchdowns scored by Williams, Bradshaw. Was it a matter of maybe keying on Sickles too much and the other two guys were left alone?
Well, I don't think so. I think he made a nice run. We missed a couple arm tackles, but I don't think it's so much keying on one individual.
Basically, the field position has gone Richwoods' way. You guys have been in a hole most of the game.
This is one of our concerns in the game. We didn't want to get into a field position thing like this, and like you said, the first half was all Richwoods in terms of field position.
Down 13-0. I know that's not how you had it diagrammed when you talk to your kids. What do you tell them now at halftime?
2 touchdowns shouldn't win the ball game. We've been down before. We just got to regroup. I think we've shown that we can move the ball a little bit. We just got to get back and control the ball a little bit and get some first downs and get some decent field position. I think we'll be all right.
Jim Boyder, thank you.
Thank you.
All right, back upstairs now, guys.
Thanks very much, Doug and Jim, for taking the time to chat with us. We're at halftime here, and we will be back in just a minute. Penalties, even though it doesn't look like it, they hurt Joliet Catholic.
Both of those penalties were in first down situations.
Well, things started out in the downpour, and here's the first touchdown scored by Peoria Richwoods. We see right here, it's just this a buck fake with the counter trap, and Lamont Williams making a nice run, showing his excellent speed here. And you can see the type of tackling that Coach Boyder was talking about right there. Bounces off him, and that should not have been a touchdown. It should have been on the 6-yard line, but a great effort by Williams on that run. Joliet Catholic spent most of its time, or all of its time, in its own territory in the first half, and each time Eddie started punting would put the Hilltoppers in deeper and deeper position. Once again, right after the next exchange, the next punt, here's another touchdown.
Counter trap with the wing coming off of the fake, and excellent blocking by Peoria Richwoods. Catches, again, there's a tackling, but excellent blocking on the part of the Peoria Richwoods offensive line, and all of a sudden they're looking at a 13-0 lead.
Greg Bradshaw with the 34-yard touchdown run. And as we come ready for the second half, it is 13-0 Peoria Richwoods leading Joliet Catholic.
Widmer presents distinctive office furniture by Kimball, an executive furniture collection. Constructed of fine hardwoods in traditional and contemporary styling, Kimball is an investment in quality and design. Choose from a wide selection of Kimball desks, chairs, and accessories. From Illinois' largest office furniture and equipment showroom on one floor, Widmer offers quality office furniture at affordable prices. For all your office needs, shop Widmer, the area's authorized dealer for Kimball office furniture.
Again, for a limited time this year, you'll find a very special countdown to Christmas poster. And it's yours free just for buying 7-Up and sharing 7-Up. What a great way to share in the feeling of Christmas. It's the perfect time to stock up on 7-Up's creamy, crisp, clean refreshment. And kids get to build Santa's beard as they count off the days to Christmas. Get the free countdown to Christmas poster when you buy 7-Up and sharing 7-Up. 7-Up, it's a feeling of Christmas.
Come closer. I want to show you something. The magic of diamonds from Jones Brothers Jewelers. Downstate Illinois' largest selection of diamonds will put a sparkle in the eye of someone special. And choosing the right setting is not. Pendants, earrings, bracelets, and a selection of diamond rings that will take your breath away.
Experience the magic of diamonds from Jones Brothers Jewelers in downtown Pekin and Peoria's Metro Center before they disappear.
Let's go down on the field. Doug Bell's got Coach Rod Butler of Peoria.
Okay, Mike, we're here with Rod on the enemy sideline, so we're not going to talk long. Rod, the first couple of touchdowns, Lamont Williams scored, Greg Bradshaw. Was it a matter of the other team maybe concentrating too much on Joe up the middle there?
Could have been. That's why we, obviously they were all over Joe, so that's why we did what we did.
Up 13-0, you've had great field position. I mean, you couldn't ask for anything more against a great team like this.
Right. We don't have that kind. I don't know what's going to happen second half because we won because a couple little short drives, good field position, a solid defense, and kicking. Second half, it's going to be a tough one.
Rod, thanks so much.
Thank you.
Okay, Rod Butler in his first state championship game as a head coach, looking for his first big win. Back to you guys upstairs.
Thank you very much, Doug. Well, something tells me that Rod is not convinced he's got this ball game won yet. And I think Joliet Catholic is convinced, too, as Boyder told Doug that 13 points is not going to win this ball game either.
No, there's no doubt about it. Both teams are very, very strong offensively, great defenses. 13 points. I would be real surprised if we don't get a lot of scoring here in the second half, because the weather conditions have changed drastically since the first quarter, and the field has dried up now, and it's really in good shape.
Well, if you liked a little swimming before, you'll get lots of swimming tomorrow. Tune in to Sports Vision on Sunday for more exciting IHSA championship action when the state's top swimmers and divers compete for the Illinois swimming and diving title. The action begins at noon on Sports Vision right here. Chicago's winners on cable. Second half now. Peoria Richwoods will have the choice as they deferred the choice after winning the coin toss in the first half. And there's Jim Boyder. And he obviously had a few choice things to say to his team.
They really haven't been playing that badly. It's just been the field position.
They have been sitting in their own territory. I don't think they never did get into enemy territory.
They did for about 10 seconds before the penalty and the fumble.
Right. Okay, Joliet Catholic will kick off. And you're going to see Chris Mahalik, number 7, teeing the ball up. Mahalik also the backup quarterback.
Now this is where that coin flip at the beginning of the ball game for our fans at home. Peoria Richwoods deferred the toss. They won the toss, deferred the second half, and that's why Joliet Catholic got possession the first time. But now, interesting, up 13-0. Here's where that decision comes in handy, because now they're going to get the ball back.
Okay. There's Mahalik, number 7. Some deep men, Todd Fitzsimmons, number 11. Fred Taylor, number 28. He's up at the far side at the top of your screen. And we're set to go for the final 24 minutes of action here at the Class 5A IHSA State Championship. We'll go to Fitzsimmons. Fitzsimmons on his 7. And Todd Fitzsimmons. Met by a lot of brown jerseys. Led by number 50, Mike Scroggins, as he is driven down. So Peoria Richwoods again starting out, although this time in its own territory on its own 24-yard line,
which is very unusual for them since it hasn't happened in the first half.
Quarterback number 13, Ian Brown. And the give is to Sickles. Sickles the fullback. And he is buried. Number 91, Dan Robb. Number 51, John Lausch, leading the Joliet Catholic charge. If there's any question if this Joliet Catholic team is fired up, they are.
You can see right there, John Lausch, son of a Joliet firefighter, 6'1", 210-pound senior, coming in the seam there, making the tackle along with Scroggins.
No gain, 2nd and 10, still from the 23-yard line. Bradshaw out, split left. And again, this is Sickles. And Sickles gets maybe a yard or 2. No, that's Williams, correction. Lamont Williams.
He was initially slowed down by Mike Scroggins, who shot through the gap there and made contact in the backfield, but couldn't hang on to him, and he ended up getting out of there with about a yard gain. Taking a look at John Lausch, 6'1", 210-pound senior for Joliet Catholic, the hub of their defense.
3rd and 6 now with the I formation. Sickles and Williams. And this again is Williams, and he is tripped up immediately by Jack Stoll. And a real good series there for the Joliet Catholic defense to start out the second half.
They needed this. You can see they came out excited. The first couple plays there, they made good hits. Now they're forcing a fumble, and this is the tempo of the first half. Now Joliet Catholic's going to get it in good field position. So the game has been a little switch here.
Seneca back about his own 36-yard line to take Sutter's punt. Eddie Sutter certainly as much of an offensive weapon as any, and Sutter's punt is partially blocked. The punt partially blocked, although we get a flag back by the kicker. It goes out of bounds after Richwoods 42, but there's a flag back where the kicker was, and there's the signal.
Now the question is, and the fans are going, and so is Coach Boyder's running out on the field. But what happened here, I believe, is that he kicked that ball cleanly. It was a poor punt, and they never made contact with the ball. It was a bad punt, which gave you the indication that it was blocked or deflected, but I think it was just a poor punt initially, and
Boyder won the argument. And Joliet Catholic will go on the offense in enemy territory. Let's see if we can get a call here.
Punt was blocked. No foul.
Okay, now that's the official that threw the flag right there, and he conferred because he could not see it. Let's take a look at it here. The only reason I could think that they'd be upset is because he kicked it clear. No, he got a piece of it. Right there, it was deflected, as you can see, and then after that, he can do that, and that was Scruggins.
So Joliet Catholic now making a break for itself. The Hilltoppers on the nice 42-yard line. Peoria Richwoods 42. They line up in the eye. And the pitch goes to Tyrone Isaac, and Isaac knocked out of bounds by Sutter, number 14, and by Marty Reno, number 84. And by number 33, David Reyes, who made the initial hit. Big loss, 3-yard loss back to the 45. Well, you're not going to win with that kind of possession time, even though it all adds up to not much you score in that period of time. Double wing now, 2nd and 13. Double wing set with Udovich, the fullback. And this is Brian Voss. And he's going to take it. And Jonathan Voss, driven out of bounds by Sutter, but he picks up about 6 yards.
See the fake right here. Now watch this pump fake here. This gets the defender up off the ground, and he's able to go around him. The only way he would have got around that defensive man was with that pump fake. Got him up in the air thinking he was passing, and he was able to make that move around him. A good basketball. And Voss is a basketball player, so that's his basketball background.
Voss is a 3-sport athlete over there at Joliet Catholic. In fact, he's looking to become only the 3rd letterman in 3 sports in that school's history. Now he's got a 3rd and 6, which is the immediate problem. Voss to throw. It is complete, and once again to Pellegrini, and Pellegrini out of bounds. And Pellegrini will be caught it in bounds, just stepped out inside the 30.
Take a look at it. Straight drop back pass. He's got 2 people at the bottom. Right there is Isaac in the flat, and there's Pellegrini sitting there 3 yards beyond the first down. Nice throw, nice catch, stops the clock, and a first down.
Andy Pellegrini, the leading receiver on the Joliet Catholic team, had 31 catches coming into today's game. And this is the furthest penetration Joliet Catholic has made into Peoria Richwoods territory. And they're going to get a couple of yards further as Malcolm Hooks, the nose guard, broke the plane, I believe, and will be called for encroachment.
But I think the Joliet Catholic defender moved.
Don't anticipate him, Mike, right?
Take a look at the left guard right there.
Ball start, offense,
Kurt Runge. Runge, the left guard, drew the defense offside, and Joliet Catholic again set back by a penalty. Flag is still on the field. The official will grab it. 9:27 to go. 13-0. Peoria Richwoods. Joliet Catholic with the ball. Now it's a 1st and 15. Seneca in motion. There's Voss again. This time it's a draw to Tyrone Isaac. And Tyrone Isaac rudely greeted by number 11, Todd Fitzsimmons. After a minimal game. Good play by Fitzsimmons.
Todd Fitzsimmons is a tough kid out there. Let's take a look at it. Coming back, split back, coming out of the eye here. It's just a draw to Isaac. And he's trying to get out of the perimeter, but you can see that he's being stretched. And Simmons comes up with a good tackle, forcing him out of bounds, short of the first down. Real short. They're looking at second and about 14. 14, yeah. Shotgun formation.
There's Tyrone Isaac and Voss back in the shotgun. 9:20 to go. This is Voss again. Looking left, and then he's throwing right. He's got a man in the end zone, but it's intercepted again by Fitzsimmons. Todd Fitzsimmons at his 2 and slipped down at about the 15. Todd Fitzsimmons once again as Joliet Catholic is stopped.
That's the same as a punt. They're down in their own territory. Let's take a look at the shotgun. He's looking left. There's a man that is wide open, but then he's looking off and he's going for the post route. But the ball had a slip because he was nowhere near the receiver. And right again, it's Mr. Fitzsimmons coming up and gets good field position. Shouldn't say good field position because he's down on his own 15-yard line.
gets a couple of yards out to about the 13, so second down 7. Joliet Catholic's defense revolves around their linebackers. The down people are down 4. Their responsibility is to tie up the offensive linemen so that number 51, John Louch, and number 50, Mike Scruggins, can make the plays in the ball carrier. That's how the defense is designed, and of course, Louch does a great job along with Scruggins. Second and 7. Richwoods in the eye. Lamont Williams. On the wing is Bradshaw. Long count. And this is Sickles. And Sickles again breaking through over the left side. And Sickles is brought down. Let's go back down to Doug Bell.
Okay, guys, you know, the last time Richwoods and Joliet Catholic met 3 years ago in the semifinals, Richwoods won 27-15. The head coach then, Tom Peelers. Tom, you're now on the sidelines watching. This must bring back a few memories.
It really does. You know, it also eliminates a lot of tension being up in the stands and sit on the sideline. Great ball game, though.
Stay with us, and we'll watch this play.
Okay, Doug, thank you. Good to see you, Tom. And Williams now, he is stopped back well short of the first down. He'll bring up a fourth down, a punting situation. Joe Berta, the linebacker, the 17-year-old senior, number 42, in there to make the stop.
Take a look at it here. It's a counter trap with the tailback, but good penetration by the outside perimeter of Joliet Catholic, making that play and stopping them on that third down play.
All right, Sutter back to punt, and Seneca at midfield to take it. Again, low snap. Sutter gets it away, and it's bounding away from Seneca, who'll have to let it go. Takes the Joliet Catholic roll, and it comes up to about the Hilltoppers 48 before it's down by Peoria Richwood. Joliet Catholic will have some good field position here with 7 minutes to go. We'll have more after that 37-yard punt. Joliet Catholic will have the ball when we return. They trail by 13.
If you really want the best deal, remember this. For the best quality American-made appliances, you just can't beat Whirlpool. And for the best price and free delivery, you just can't beat Neil's. Neil's, the king of deals in downtown Pekin.
When you buy a house, your fun curve goes way down. That's when you really appreciate a professional who knows his business, and that's Dale Jorgensen. Most real estate agents try to take you through gates by showing you houses you don't want first. Dale didn't do that. It saved us a lot of time. Dale is a very thorough man. He takes the time to talk to you about what you want, then he goes out and finds it. That's real unusual in an agent.
I'm Dale Jorgensen. Call me for the last word in real estate. It's sold. Joan Van Art, Susan St. James, Blythe Danner, and Brian Dennehy visit Mad.
Dinner here is around 7. Nausea is around 8.
All this week at 10:30 after 19 Eyewitness News Update.
13-0 the score. Peoria Richwoods undefeated through the regular season and the playoffs. Now ahead of the Joliet Catholic Hilltoppers. Joliet Catholic with the ball on their own 47-yard line. Voss gives it off to Seneca, and Mike Seneca battles through midfield. Back to Doug on the field. Go ahead, Doug.
Okay, we talked to Tom Peeler. This is his son, Greg. Greg was the quarterback on that team for Richwoods that won it in '84. And Greg, you were in the locker room at halftime kind of listening to what Rod Bell had to say. What did he say?
Well, he just stressed, you know, you got to stick to fundamentals, the basics, you know, when you hit your route, and on offense, you got to stay in your blocks for a little bit longer, and, you know, it was the basic halftime product.
Quickly, I guess you remember when you played Joliet, huh?
Oh, yeah, these guys are tough this year again, too. You know, it's turned out to be a real good game.
Okay, the Peelers. When you talk Richwoods football, you talk the Peelers. Back to you guys upstairs.
All right, that was Mike Seneca. Seneca trying to circle the right side, but he was met by Kevin Carpenter and down after a short gain. It brings up a third down and 7. And Joliet Catholic now looking for something to get going here. You feel as though they want to start moving, but each time Peoria Richwoods, to his credit, has brought the Hilltoppers up short. They're in the double wing. It's 3rd and 7 from midfield. Udovich is the setback. Seneca and Isaac on the wing. Here's Ross to throw again. Ross has some room, but he lets it go. Incomplete. Intended for Howie Schneider, who had a couple of defenders around him. And Ross has some room to run.
He did, and it's a tough pass going to your left when you're right-handed because you got to turn those shoulders all the way around and get those hips turned ball on target using good mechanics and technique. It's a difficult task for a right-hander sprinting to his left.
Jonathan Bloss here. And we just get a whistle for an official timeout for a minute. You're looking at Todd Fitzsimmons, the deep man. Rod Butler, the coach, pacing the sidelines. Boy, is he pacing.
Got that coach's look on his face.
I think it's more like a drill sergeant's look.
Coach's mask.
Okay. 5:38 to go. Peoria Richwoods leads 13-0. The Class 5A title game. Mike Liederman, Jack McInerney, Doug Bell down there down on the field. And we're all awaiting the punt from Joliet Catholic. Boss gets the end-over-ender, and it's bounding away down inside the 20. And it will be blown dead at about the 13. So we're seeing Joliet Catholic pushing Peoria Richwoods back, which is fine from Peoria's point of view, as long as they don't score. Let's go down to Doug.
Okay, guys, not only do you have the bad seat because the weather's better, but I'm standing beside all the cheerleaders now, Joliet Catholic cheerleaders. You know, Joliet Catholic is an all-boys school. These girls go to the all-girls school, so they never see each other in school, right?
Right.
So how do you get all pumped up for the game?
Well, we are anyway.
You are anyway? Do you have any boyfriends on the team?
No.
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 Okay, they see each other at games only. Back to you guys.
All right, that's why they got the numbered jerseys on. All right, Richwoods on the move. Stay away from those cheerleaders, Doug.
If you believe they see each other only at the game's only, I got a fake bridge in the
borough of Manhattan going to Brooklyn, yeah. Okay. Joliet Catholic again on the sidelines. Second down, 8 yards to go. Peoria Richwoods with that 13-0 lead. And this is Brown running the option, but he is dragged down by Festura. Joe Festura.
Take a look at it here. You see the guard pulling and everybody blocking down, and he's hooking the outside man. He still has the ball. Great job there defensively by Joe Berta. Now, that's only about the second or third time in this entire ball game that they've tried to attack the perimeter with the second and third phase of the option. When they did it earlier in the ball game, they had a big gainer by Williams, so they might be going back to that later.
You see that statistic right now. It's a 3rd and 8. And again, this is Lamont Williams, and Lamont Williams will be well short of the first down. And Lausch, the linebacker, number 51, making the stop. Helped out by Jack Skoll, and once again will be punting time for Peoria Richwoods with 3 minutes 39 seconds to go in the 3rd quarter.
And again, Joliet Catholic should come up with good field position here.
Well, you feel the momentum shifting little by little, but give Peoria Richwoods credit. They have kept Joliet Catholic really at bay. Sutter's punt is blocked. And this is Lausch. Gets the ball, and he's brought down on the 25. Joliet Catholic had been threatening to do that for some time now, and they once again get to Sutter. They blocked the last 2 punts.
I'm sure the firehouses in Joliet have the tire complaining with John Lausch, the son of a Joliet firefighter, picking that ball up and maybe running for the first time in his career. Number 94 blocked that punt.
Jack Skoll.
See him coming right here at the bottom of your screen. And he comes right back with that left arm and blocks the punt.
Coming back live now, Mike Seneker going over the left side, and Seneker gets down close to the 20. And that'll be a gain of about 4 as we reach the 3-minute mark of the 3rd quarter.
And the Joliet contingent here is on their feet, and they have a large amount of fans down here in the stands from Joliet. And
the whole bench from Joliet Catholic is moving down to where the action is. 2nd down and 6, and the fans are really starting to cheer. And Seneker whacked behind the line. Excellent play by the defense of Peoria Richwoods, led once again by number 20, Greg Bradshaw, Desi Taylor, number 51. And what a pop that was. And I believe Taylor is down. Let's see if we can.
We're looking right there at the young man that blocked the punt, Jack Skoll, 5'10", 205-pound senior. And he's been very active all year in Joliet's outstanding defense. And of course, he blocked the punt, and then John Lausch, number 51, picked it up and ran it back to the present position that Joliet Catholic has.
I believe that's Desi Taylor on the ground, 18-year-old, 6', 192-pound senior. And put quite the hit right there on Mike Seneca.
This interesting position for Joliet Catholic. They're down in two down area. It is third down, and they have about 7 yards to go. Let's take a look at it right here. You notice he just comes right in, right there, and with his head turned a little bit right there, was tremendous contact being made, and you can see that he stays down. And now he's on his feet, and
he looks okay. He's coming off under his own power, but that was quite a shot.
You get a little jolt, and it throws a numbness and a stinging sensation through your shoulder, and that's what he has right now, and he's just kind of rubbing it off, and he'll be back in, I'm sure, in another play or two.
Peoria Richwoods defense doing an excellent job. A good break for Joliet Catholic, but now they find themselves 3rd and 7. And this is Voss. Voss looking in the flat for Sean Bergman, and Bergman gets down to about the 15, but it looks as though he is still short of first down yardage.
Now, these are the measurements that coaches really hate, because you have to bring the chains all the way over to the other side of the field, but he did make the first down.
They say he made it, so the chains are moving. And Joliet Catholic on the 15.
This first score, if Joliet Catholic can score here, will change momentum. They'll be back in the ball game. Up to this point, they haven't done anything. This is their biggest drive, but they've also been in a situation where they have gained good field position on that punt. So,
as we saw earlier, Peoria Richwoods doesn't have a first down in this half. First down, 10 to go on the 15. Seneca in motion. And this is Tyrone Isaac, and Isaac fighting his way down inside the 10.
That's that inside counter they run so effectively, and that shows his dimension of Tyrone Isaac. He plays the wing, he plays the I-back. They move him and Seneca around. You can see him coming right back. The fake, the fullback filled for the guard who pulled out and trapped, and Isaac turns up inside, and now we're looking at about a 2nd and 5.
Good block in there by Tim O'Brien, the 280-pound tackle. 2nd down, 5 yards to go. They're in the I formation, and this time they give it to Seneca, and Mike Seneca battling his way close to the goal line. And Seneca is about the 1 or the 2, and that's good for 1st and goal.
That's the kind of run that gets people all excited, gets your team pumped up. Let's take a look at the effort here. Seneca now is back at the running back. Just take a look at the second effort. He's hit by 3 people, keeps his legs going, spinning, driving, won't give up. Tremendous, tremendous run there by Matt Seneca.
1st and goal now from the 1. Joliet Catholic. The sneak by Voss, and Voss looks in, no signal yet. Let's see what happens when they unpile. The only signals going up in the air are brown shirts from Joliet Catholic. The officials have not said anything yet. Voss slipped off the shoulder and went in, and there it is. Touchdown, Hilltopper.
We got ourselves a ball game here.
Now we also have barely a minute to go in the 3rd quarter. Joliet Catholic breaking through, and now it is a new ball game.
Here's your quarterback sneak. He's moving outside. The left guard will wedge blocking, which means that all people block down towards the point of attack and towards the ball and try to drive them into the end zone, which they did, and a touchdown by Jonathan Voss.
Kelvin Greenwood, 92, a senior, for the point after. It's up, and it is good. Well, it's a touchdown ball game right now. 1 minute, 11 seconds to go. It is Peoria Richwoods 13, Joliet Catholic on the board with 7.
This is the ball game that's shaping up to what we thought it would be. Probably one of the better ball games of all the 6 games that we're televising down here. Exciting ball game with 2 excellent football teams.
Well, there's Rod Butler, and Butler going to be making some adjustments. Now, you felt that momentum shift. Peoria Richwoods was doing the 1, 2, 3 and out, and Joliet Catholic was starting on the 50, on the 40, on the other guy's 25 after they blocked the punt, and that 3rd quarter has been played all the way down the left side of the field.
It's been a mirror effect of what Peoria had in the first half. Now Joliet's had the field position, has taken advantage of it, so it's been really an interesting back and forth concept.
Mahalik to kick off.
And Joliet Catholic is pumped. They're excited. You can feel the electricity in the air down here with the Joliet Catholic fans.
Taylor and Seneca. That is Seneca. Check it. That is Fitzsimmons, of course. Todd Fitzsimmons. And he traps it and comes up with the ball on the 15. And Fitzsimmons gets a good run. And he gets it all the way out to the 45. Todd Fitzsimmons. He did 2 fabulous things. One, they were short hopping it.
Let's take a look at it. He traps it here so it doesn't, like a center fielder, not letting it go to the wall.
Kelly saying hello. 2 minutes, 8 seconds on the drive. 6 plays, the final 25 yards with Jonathan Voss sneaking over for the first Joliet Catholic score, 13-7, and we're under 30 seconds to go in the third quarter.
And the last time we saw a graphic about possession showed him with 2 minutes and 2 seconds and no score. So the difference is, obviously, you can be in the ball game if you can score in 2 minutes.
That's true. That's true. Second down play. Again, it's Sickles, and Sickles getting some good yardage into the secondary.
He's a tough kid.
And we have an injured player down for Joliet Catholic. I believe it's Dave Gosser. Gosser, the linebacker, number 54.
He made that last pop there on Sickles. And now this is an inside trap right here. You can see Sickles following his guard. He gets upfield. Watch the pop right there. That right there is he's driven backwards, and that's how Gosser hurt his shoulder.
Third down, 3 yards to go. And Richwoods badly needs something here just to reestablish some kind of field position, some kind of continuity in its offense. Richwoods has been running a 3-down offense this entire half. Well, they'll have to turn around and do it from the other way because we have reached the end of the third quarter with the score Peoria Richwoods 13, Joliet Catholic 7. We'll be back with the final 12 minutes of action.
If you're tired of sweatpants that can turn into sweat knickers after one washing and sweatshirts that can't hold up to a backyard first down, Brown Sporting Goods has the sweats you'll go for. New premium white sweats are the best ever, built by the folks who are experts at making comfortable yet rugged athletic wear. Russell Athletic sweats are heavier, thicker, and softer, built tougher to last longer and shrink less than ever. In short, we at Brown's think they're the best you can buy for the money. Russell Athletic premium sweats at all Brown Sporting Goods locations.
When you need insurance, you need an agent with big ideas. An independent agent. Independent agents offer big ideas in auto insurance, big ideas in homeowners insurance, big ideas in business insurance. That's because they represent more than one company, so they can offer you the right insurance at the right price. And that's the big idea.
Look in the yellow pages for this emblem of your Peoria independent agent.
Ah, the holiday season, my busiest time of the year. Many senior citizens dread this holiday. For them, it's just another lonely time of the year with no family or gifts. This Christmas, bring home great entertainment and make it a happy holiday for area seniors. Donate $15 to Neighborhood House Santa for Seniors and receive free installation on any one UA cable system service. Well, time for this senior citizen to go to work.
Call UA Cable System 686-2600.
Time to start biting nails. We're in the fourth quarter. Mike Liederman along with everybody here. Jack McInerney. And there is Jim Boyder, Rod Butler. We're all here. This is quite a ball game. We're going into the fourth quarter. Peoria Richwoods, the lead and the ball with a big 3rd and 3. Flags fly, players jump, and Rod Butler's got to be real upset on that one. They had a 3rd and 3, and now they're going to have a 3rd and 8. And that is not the way to start off the fourth quarter. Let's take a look at the right tackle jumping right there, and that's Todd Houston. And you can see right there the look on Coach Butler's face. He's not real happy. Now a 3rd and 8. Take a look at the yardage. That's changed around after the third quarter. Joliet Catholic now with about 70 yards better. Here's the give to Sickles. They'll take it to Williams, and Williams fumbles the ball, and the Hilltoppers say they have it. And the Hilltoppers do. You know, that big 2 word in football, mo and mentum, have just changed here. Joliet Catholic got that fumble at midfield. You can see right here, Williams, and great hit there by Scruggins. And coming up with the ball, the new player to see him, Mark Allstott, number 8, falling on it. The official got so excited he signaled the wrong way. Here's Mark Allstott, back up defensive back. Here goes Catholic. It is Mike Seneca, and Seneca gets about 4 yards, down close to the 45-yard line. It really has been an interesting ball game at this point from the first half to the second half.
Peoria Richwoods in the first half, all Joliet Catholic in the second half to this point.
Interesting, because both these teams, as both coaches said, they match up evenly. They're about the same size. They have the same type of personnel. And this is Seneca again trying to turn. He's got a lot of white shirts to beat it. He will not. And talking to him as well as knocking him down is Greg Bradshaw.
You can see the guard and the fullback leading the play here, and he's just stretching it to the sideline. Bill Williams, number 50, and number 20, Greg Bradshaw, just forced him to the sideline, and you can't get any yardage when you're running east and west.
Big third down play. You're taking a look at the turnovers now. 3 for Joliet Catholic. And 1 for Peoria Richwoods, which you just saw. 3rd and 5. Ross. And good coverage by Peoria Richwoods. Joliet Catholic wanted an interference call, but good double coverage in there by Fitzsimmons, number 11 especially.
Take a look at it here. They went into a passing formation, and he's going right to the left on a curl route, trying to find him in the seam, and just went right through his hands. And Joliet Catholic here is calling for a timeout. It's decision time.
All right, timeout, Joliet Catholic. 10:26 to go. We'll take a break, and we'll come back. 13-7 the score. Richwood.
Thanks to you and O'Connor Ford veterans like Vickers and Cannon, O'Connor Ford is now one of the nation's top 10 Ford dealers and #1 in Chicagoland.
For reliable, dependable service in our new first-class facility.
And for the lowest new car prices, see us from $54.88, Escort from $64.88, see me. And for 5-minute financing at today's lowest possible rate, if anyone can, Vickers and Cannon can. If anyone can, O'Connor can. O'Connor Ford, 20% less 96.
Rolex and your official Rolex jeweler share a commitment to quality, symbolized by the display of this crystal prism. Achievers such as golf legend Arnold Palmer wear the 18-karat gold Rolex President with confidence and pride, knowing that their timepiece sets the standard for excellence. Look for the Rolex Prism, your assurance of authenticity, only at your official Rolex jeweler.
Smart Jewelers, 3350 Devon in Lincolnwood.
With 4th down and 6 from near midfield, actually from the 46-yard line, Voss will punt. Maybe. This is getting into situations where in this territory you could look at it fake, but not by how the people are positioned in the backfield for Joliet at this point. Fitzsimmons, the single safety. And Voss kicks it, angling for the sidelines. And he gets a good roll for Joliet Catholic inside the 10-yard line. Down to Doug.
Tell you what, guys, we just were over on the Richwood side. Rod Butler got his troops around him, and he said, listen, we haven't done anything for 2 quarters. Let's put together a Richwood drive, underline that, and put this thing away. That was from Rod Butler. Back to you.
All right, Doug. 10 minutes, 15 seconds to go. This is really in the trenches crunch time. Clock is running now. Peoria Richwoods from its own 9-yard line. Quarterback Ian Brown, the junior. Joe Sickles and Lamont Williams are the setbacks in the eye. And Brown on the option. And Brown is dragged down right as he crosses the 10-yard line. Number 24, Mike Kelly. And they're on the tackle along with Rich Gregorich.
Notice the fake right in there. The fullback is taken. They got a man on the quarterback and a man on the tailback. Nice defensive job there by Rich Gregorich, taking his option responsibilities.
They give him 2. A bit generous. It's really more like a gain of 1, maybe. 2nd down. Call it a long 8. And the inside handoff to Sickles, and Sickles is driven back by Joe Burton, number 42. Burt almost got the ball before Sickles did.
Joliet Catholic's defense is really pumped. Let's take a look at it here. Just to ride the Sickles right in there, and he is face-to-face, mask-to-mask, helmet-to-helmet. That's high school football at its finest.
Lost about the length of a football, so now with a 3rd and 9 from their own 10, as Jim Boyle looks on, along with Chris Mahalik, the second-team quarterback, who wears that hat to signal in the plays. Here's a
65-yard kick. We said he's an offensive weapon when it comes to punting. He did a great job under severe pressure. Gets off a tremendous kick.
Sutter had his last two blocked. He almost gets this one blocked here. Watch him bobble the snap. But gets it away, and does he ever. 55 yards. Let's take a look at the end of the play right here, Jack.
Catches it on the shoulder, misjudges it, going over the shoulder, and here's the hit right here after he's down. Not a real smart play, 15 yards. Notice how he's going back, and he lets it hit the shoulder pad. From a technique standpoint, that's not what you want. He's about to get up, and he gets hit. And there's another 15 yards.
A reserve defensive back, and it takes the ball right back into Richwoods territory with 8:01 to go.
What a ball game.
Here comes Joliet Catholic on the march again. You're right, Jack. This is in the mirror of the first half, because now Richwoods has not gotten out of its own country. Here's Voss. Dumps it off. Tyrone Isaac, and Isaac can't hold on.
You know, Peoria Richwoods' offense has gotten all the press, but I'll tell you what, Peoria Richwoods has an excellent defense. Let's take a look at it right here. Play action fake to Seneca, and he's just dumping it out in the flat, but look at the people right here. Two people, great coverage.
Greg Bradshaw, number 20, making the hit along with Ed Sutter.
And they're lucky that wasn't picked off because there was nobody there but green AstroTurf.
Second down, 10 to go. Joliet Catholic with the ball. They trail 13-7. Fourth quarter, Class 5A. State championship. Wing to the right. Tyrone Isaac. They give it to Seneca. Mike Seneca. Just the yard, and he is driven back. Kevin Carpenter, the left tackle. And as tough as the Joliet defense is, so is Peoria Richwoods here.
You see the linebackers coming right up in the hole. The hole is there, but the linebackers come up and fill it, and now we've got a big third down here for Joliet Catholic.
It's David Reyes who made the initial hit and drove Seneca back. 3rd and 8. Double wing. Ross again looking. Good coverage. Lets it go, intended for Isaac. And there was no way Tyrone Isaac was going to catch that ball. 3 white shirts all around. Let's go to Doug on the field.
Okay, Mike, a couple of things you might notice. Richwoods never blitzes. They stay at home. They have the entire season, and they have the entire game. Their guys do not blitz. As for Joliet, remember the 2 punts they blocked? They didn't try to block them. They had their basic coverage call. It just happened that they blocked it. The last punt that they didn't block, they tried to block that one. Back to you guys.
Okay. This is Voss in punt formation at his own 45. Kicking to Fitzsimmons, and another good punt by Voss. It goes back to the 6-yard line. And Fitzsimmons is brought down at the 15. A good hit by Tyrone Isaac, number 32.
We're down to crunch time with 6:55 left, and Peoria Richwoods up 13-7. Joliet Catholic
55-yard punt right there.
Right here, here's Fitzsimmons trying to, he had a seam and a great effort here, but the Joliet Catholic coverage was very good, and now they're taking over the ball on the 15-yard line.
A big lineman, Tim O'Brien.
Real big lineman.
280, real big. 1st and 10 on the 15th of Peoria Richwoods. Richwoods still, I believe, without a first down in this half. This is Ian Brown, and Ian Brown gives it off to the short man. And the short man being Sickles, and Sickles gets maybe a yard.
Bob Greenwald, one of the corners, coming in to make that play along with John Louth in the interior of the Joliet Catholic defense.
Clock is running now. Jim Boyder getting his team ready for the final few minutes. 2nd and 9. Sickles and Williams in the eye. And again it's Sickles, and Sickles once again gets very little. Scroggins, number 50, in there to put the blocks to him. As we go under 6 minutes. 3rd down. And 9 yards to go.
And again, in many cases, it's the passing down for most teams that we've talked about. Peoria Richwoods does not throw the ball very much based on the fact that they've had the 4,200 yards of offense this year, and only 300 of them have been passing.
Well, here we go from a 3rd down. 9 yards to go. Again, it's Sickles, and Sickles. Peoria keeping it really close to the vest, playing it at home. They must have a lot of confidence
right here is Sickles inside, and great contact made there by number 51, John Louch, the leader of that Joliet Catholic defense.
Loss to the yard. It's 4th and 10 from his own 1-yard line. Sutter will get this one off.
They've got everybody up there with one man back.
Sutter gets it off, and it's going to Seneca. And Seneca lets it roll, and it's going to get a good roll for Peoria Richwoods down to about the 33-yard line.
Excellent punter.
55-yard kick.
High school punter. Outstanding. And, you know, you talk about high school coaches knowing what they're doing. When I talked to Coach Boyder before the ball game, he mentioned it. We have a outstanding specialty team and a good punter, but they have a great punter.
4 minutes, 48 seconds to go. You can tell from the statistics, Peoria Richwoods has been playing it very, very conservatively. Joliet Catholic has put half the points they need on the board, but still needs more. This is Seneca. And Seneca, check it, Tyrone Isaac gets the call, and Isaac gets up to about the 35-yard line.
You know, when it gets down to the state championship game, the cream rises to the top. Both these teams have had great seasons, and now we're looking at the two best teams in 5A at this point, and they both play great defense, and that's the key in high school football.
From the shotgun, Voss on a 2nd down and 8 from his own 35. Jonathan Voss throws into the seam, and a good catch by Andy Pellegrini. Pellegrini, first down, diving and falling and catching it for the first down at the 46.
Out of the shotgun, he looks away, looks off, and he comes back to the other side here with Pellegrini. And Pellegrini makes a real nice diving catch there for the first down.
I wonder if that short passing game, which Joliet Catholic hasn't really used that much, possibly because of the good coverage by Richwoods, is the way they're going to, if they're going to win it, they're going to win it. 1st and 10, they stay in the shotgun. Voss, man open, complete. Mike Seneca to the 21-yard line.
And had he been able to keep his feet, he had 6 points. He was wide open. Great catch.
Seneca again running the post right to the middle, Jack.
This is a first down out of the shotgun, a little unusual. And he finds Seneca in the seam, who went to the slot back here, and you can see he leaves his feet. Great catch. He had 6 points and he was able to keep his feet, but now Joliet Catholic's driving.
29-yard pass play, 1st and 10 from their own 24, from the Richwoods 24, Tyrone Isaac. And Tyrone Isaac gets a yard or 2 down to about the 22. 3 minutes, 25 seconds to go. Peoria Richwoods on defense, 13. Joliet Catholic on offense, 7. Peoria Richwoods.
The ball game we talked about.
Yeah, it is every bit the ball game we talked about. Peoria Richwoods with 2 touchdowns in the first quarter, hasn't been heard from offensively since. Catholic got on the board in the 3rd quarter, and they have owned the second half. Voss, 2nd down. Voss can't find a receiver and has to take the sack. He loses back to the original line of scrimmage.
Out of the shotgun here, he gets good protection. The key to this is Peoria Richwoods secondary is doing a tremendous job in the receivers for Joliet Catholic. Tries to go with that pump fake again, but a great effort there by number 84, Marty Reno.
You can take a look at the time ticking down. Remember, there's no 2-minute warning in high school football either, so with 2.5 minutes to go. And with 3rd and 8. This is Seneca coming towards you in motion. Again, Voss. What coverage?
Got a man open in the end zone.
Wide open. I don't know if it was tipped away. If it was a fantastic play by Fitzsimmons, and he got a hand on it because Andy Pellegrini had 5 yards on him.
Wow. You can see Voss there trying to figure out now what they're going to do with 4th and 10.
Where did Fitzsimmons come from?
Came all the way across the field. He's looking away here in the pressure. He had a great job by the receiver of getting open. He's wide open here. Now let's see what happens.
Look at Fitzsimmons.
He got the ball. Great play.
And here they're going to go on 4th and 8. To be a ball game right here. 2 minutes, 14 seconds to go. 4th down, 8 yards to go from the 24. Voss, he's got it. Tyrone Isaac, touchdown.
Unbelievable. That's the same formation, the same play that they ran for that long
such a fabulous play the play before, just couldn't get there that time. And here's a crucial extra point. Kelvin Greenwood. It's up. Well, 2:09 to go.
And Peoria Richwoods does not throw the ball well. It comes down right here, our pre-game. It's almost as if we had a magic wand talking about the difference in the ball game. We come down to a 14-13 score for Joliet Catholic. Now Peoria Richwoods has to come back with 2 minutes left, and they do not throw the football real well. So Coach Butler's got his work cut out for him. A key to this will be where will they get the ball and the run back and their kickoff.
Well, the other thing is that Eddie Sutter, remember, he does everything else. He also kicks field goals, and he's kicked 3 of them. Let's go down to Doug Bell real quick.
Okay, guys, keep in mind now, Richwoods has done a good job today of returning kickoffs, and they've done good all year in that category. And as you said, Ed Sutter, good field goal kicker. The wind is behind him in practice. He's been known to kick them 55 yards, and the only close game Richwoods has had all season when they beat Peoria Woodruff, Eddie Sutter kicked a 45-yarder with no time on the clock. Back to you guys.
All right. Thanks for that info, Doug. 2 minutes, 9 seconds to go. We've got Mahalik kicking off. Chris Mahalik kicking off. And this whole place is rocking.
What a ball game. Just everything we thought it was going to be and more. It is electric around here.
Fitzsimmons and Taylor are deep. It's going to go to Fitzsimmons. He takes it on the 8. Todd Fitzsimmons. And Fitzsimmons gets up to the 30.
70 yards. 2 minutes and 3 seconds. Can they do it?
Well, this is going to be some finish. Whichever way it goes, this has been some finish. As you look at the Joliet Catholic leading drive, 2 minutes, 39 seconds, culminated by Jonathan Voss's pass under the goalpost to Tyrone Isaac. Clock is running with 1:53 to go. In motion is Bradshaw. Back to throw is Ian Brown. Double coverage, and it is incomplete. Intended for Sutter, flying down the right side between 2 defenders, between John Schaff and also between him and Mike Kelly, number 24.
Ian Brown has got a heck of an arm. Heck of an arm.
Oh, he's had it rested. He's only thrown the ball 5 times.
I know, he was brushing the cobwebs off before, but he's got a tremendous arm here. Watch the mechanic. He's only a junior, 5'10", 160 pounds. He puts that ball right on the money. Now notice the receiver's fading into the, that's a tough throw for a high school quarterback.
Especially off the crown of that AstroTurf, which is higher than where he's throwing it to. Second down, Brown again to throw. Brown is going to be trapped this time by Rich Gregory. Time keeps ticking down, 1:34, 1:33.
And they have all 3 timeouts left.
They're not taking them yet. They also have 3rd and 12 right now.
Brown back to pass, and good coverage by the Joliet Catholic secondary, and he's forced to go up inside the pocket, and
clock is still running now, 1:15. This is 3rd down. They go to the double split right here, and Ian Brown pops it over the middle, and it is deflected and incomplete.
And Coach Butler is irate on the sidelines there, because I think, and he's just got a flag. The thing he was upset about is he thought the tight end was being held. Watch, it's a pop pass here off the option going to tight end. And they're saying that he was held there. Coach Butler had the ear of the official right on the sideline, and they gave Coach Butler a flag here. And that hurts.
Well, Reno was being stood up as he started to run his route. You couldn't tell from that replay whether or not Butler had a point. The point is, though, that kind of situation has just about taken his team out of any kind of chance to win this thing. Because it's a loss of down 2.
Timeout there by Coach Butler. And that's just in the heat of the moment. He was so upset by what he thought possibly was a penalty on Joliet Catholic of holding up that receiver. There's the time and there's the score. And what a great ball game this has been.
Certainly has. 1:08 to go.
And there's a man that's got some big decisions to make.
26 yards to go. It is 3rd and 26. Now, they did change it. It is 4th and 26. Okay, because it is a loss of down as well. And there's Rod Butler. Timeout situation with 1 minute to go.
They have a great field goal kicker. We talked about that, but right now they've got a long way to go to get him in range.
Well, unless he can kick him 110 yards, I think it's a little premature. Doug, go ahead.
Okay, Mike, I'm not sure what Rod Butler has planned
Joliet, I think, to play this one. And this is Brown, and Brown is hit as he throws. The ball is incomplete, and will go over to Joliet Catholic. Knocked down by Dan Raub, and Ian Brown is down too, and Dan Raub came over to see if Brown was okay.
Trying to get to the perimeter here where he's had more time because the Joliet Catholic pass rush has been so strong up. They dropped off the linebackers on the outside, and he goes to throw the ball, and you can see that he's sandwiched in between two Joliet players. And right here, you see the ball deflected off, and that could be Peoria Richwoods season right there.
Well, they're working on Ian Brown right now, and Ian Brown played very well. I mean, they came in there, and he threw more than he's thrown throughout the entire playoffs today. Showed a good live arm. He had the team working in the first quarter, but really, as Rod Butler said himself, Doug told us, he said, you haven't played since the first quarter. But interesting play selection toward the end on the previous drive before Joliet Catholic got his last touchdown. Very conservative drive all the time. Straight ahead stuff with the fullback.
Well, it's conservative from our viewpoint, but you've got to remember they've scored a lot of points and rolled up a lot of yardage with that type of offense. He's got a lot of faith in his running backs and his offensive line, and the difference there is it's not so much the offense, but what the clock has to tell you. And, as we mentioned, they have scored a lot of points with that offense.
The rain starts to come down again, but as far as the Hilltoppers are concerned, the sun is shining through. A minute 1 to go. They've got the ball. They've got a couple of timeouts. Peoria Richwoods has, as Ross just trying to run out the clock as much as he can. Peoria Richwoods takes its second timeout. So they'll continue this and see how close they can get to running the clock out before actually having to give up the ball.
Jim Boyder obviously wants, the whole idea behind it is to get Peoria to use their timeouts. And that's the whole reason behind this, is just to get him to use those, what he has left. And now he's got one left with 54. And, of course, there's 25 seconds in each. So they have done the right thing here with 3 more downs left.
Well, of course, they could stop the clock. The clock won't start until the snap. But, and we're going out the same way we came in. The rain has started. The wind's picked up again. And the clouds have just overcast the sun.
Interesting, the sun came out when Joliet Catholic started changing the momentum. I don't want to say anything about Catholicism, but
we've had 3 different seasons, I think, just during this game. 54 seconds to go. And once again, Ross keeps backpedaling. Now, they don't want to do what happened again against Marion, Chicago Heights, where they just had to run out the clock and take a safety. And
he had a long way to go to get back into the safety.
Well, what happened was they ended up on the 1-yard line. Marion took the ball and went in for the winning touchdown. But, yeah, he got 80 yards
to go. Back into the end zone to take a safety, and what happened in the ballgame, he came back out, was tackled on the 5-yard line. Marion got the ball, ran 1 play, scored, and went for 2 with no time on the clock, and won the ballgame. Incredible game.
Well, that's Richwoods' last time out, 50 seconds to go. And Voss may do a lot of east-west running right there. Rod Butler trying to explain something to Ian Brown. I think what he's saying now is, I don't know what he's saying now. I think the words we're using about right pass play is described as Hail Mary.
Right now, everything's hypothetical. If we get the ball back, if we this, if we that, and that's the only thing that you can talk about, because you don't want to be in a position to start talking to him when you do get the ball back.
Right. Well, there's Boyder. Talk about a Hail Mary pass play if they do get the ball on this change here.
That's a play on words, isn't it?
Yes, I suppose it is. Here they go now with 3rd down, 50 seconds to go. And once again, Voss, and nobody's getting to him. Then Voss kneels down. Now, Peoria Richwoods cannot stop the clock. So with 4th down, Joliet Catholic is going to run as much time off as possible.
They'll take a penalty here, and then they'll run a play. I'm sure they'll run it down.
30 seconds to go.
Yeah, right field. Just sit in there, run it down until you get the penalty.
20 seconds to go. So it looks like Peoria Richwoods on the change of possession will have 1 shot at it. 1 shot at it. 12 seconds, and there's the flag with 10 seconds to go. Smart play, just take the delay.
But, you know, it's interesting. The coaches on the sideline, and these are things that you work on sometimes, they were down there, and they want him by the ball, and when there's 5 seconds left, and in many cases they have a stopwatch, and they'll tell you, okay, I want you to snap it with 5 seconds left. so you don't get that penalty. And the coach for Joliet Catholic was very upset about that because he didn't go up to the ball and snap it. Now, Coach Jim Boyder takes a timeout here.
This is almost like a Bulls game, whether or not they can just get the ball in bounds, or in play. Here's the situation. 10 seconds to go as you look at Coach Jim Boyder, second-year coach at Joliet Catholic, and he is 10 seconds away from winning his first championship, and the 6th for Joliet Catholic.
The scenario here is the clock is stopped with 10 seconds left. They have a 4th down, and there's Coach Butler trying to figure out what will happen in these next 10 seconds. And stranger things have happened in high school football. But Peoria Richwoods has no timeout. The only way that they'll get any time to do anything and line up is by the change of possession with the stop of the clock until they'll change in place, and then they put it in, and off they go. So they will have one play after this, possibly, unless Joliet Catholic runs a quarterback sneaker here and keeps the clock going.
Or it just takes it all the way back to the goal line, but I don't think that's going to happen. All right, Voss now.
Quarterback sneak. Why am I up in this booth?
All right, there's the sneak. And there is a timeout called, an official timeout called. They've got the play called already on the Richwoods bench. They will come in, they will go, and they will take one shot at it. The Joliet Catholic defense will be all the way back by its own goal line. Quickly, Doug, you got something?
Not in the stands today. We look for it. Back to you guys.
Doug, we didn't get you. Go ahead.
Okay.
Okay, here we go. Clock is now started. This will be it. Season is right here. Brown lets it go. Broken up, and there it is.
And Joliet Catholic is going crazy. The people in the stands, and believe me, we've got probably 7,000 to 8,000 people here. The stands are packed with Joliet Catholic fans, and they're going crazy.
The rain is starting. Nobody here on the near stand seems to mind. And on the other side for Peoria Richwoods, a sad finish to a marvelous season. And what a finish it was. What a game. Jim Boyder, no question, he's his own man. And that's a nice little trophy to put up on the wall.
It sure is. And for Peoria Richwoods, it's one of those things that this is just fantastic that two teams are in there in the state championship game. And, you'll dwell on it for a few hours, but we still had a fantastic season. And, they certainly have nothing to be ashamed of, but it's hard to get that across to the players after they've lost the state championship.
What a scene that was. The embrace. Jonathan Voss, the quarterback. And Bob Deem. And Joliet Catholic, the Class 5A state football champions.
Earlier we had talked about Joliet Catholic had dedicated this game to number 40, and that was on the helmets and on many of the scarves of some of those people. And Mike, why don't you tell the folks about that?
Sure. If you take a look at some of the helmets, all the helmets on the Joliet team have the number 40 on them. And that's in memory of Paul Reese, who kicked the winning field goal last year to get the team into the playoffs, but was killed tragically in another sport, a boxing accident. And the team has dedicated this season to his memory, and quite a dedication it was. We'll be back with more from Hancock Stadium. There's your final score, Joliet over Richwoods, 14-13.